Amsterdam to Thailand. Australia to New York, one of the longest ocean flights in the world. Bangkok to New York.
This is the shortest flight from the United States to Europe. Boston to Reykjavik. The flight from Massachusetts to Iceland becomes shortest flight from US to Europe. The route is operated by Icelandair and Play Airlines. The longest flight from the United States to Europe is from Los Angeles to Istanbul. The distance between to airport Boston and Reykjavik is 2,413 miles, 3,883 kilometers and 2,097 nautical miles. Flight duration is 5 hours 4 minutes. The time difference between Boston and Reykjavik is 4 hours. Reykjavik is 4 hours ahead of Boston. On average, flying from Boston to Reykjavik generates about 265 kilograms of CO2. Do you know what are the shortest and longest flights from the United States to South America?
Chile to Miami.
Dubai to Algiers.
Dubai to Ethiopia. Dubai to Pakistan.
Florida to Japan.
London to Australia, one of the longest flights in the world at the moment. London to Bangladesh. London to Dubai. These are the 3 longest international flights from Los Angeles. Third longest flight, Los Angeles to Sydney. Second longest flight, Los Angeles to Dubai. First longest flight, Los Angeles to Singapore. An incredibly long flight, over 90% of the time over the North Pacific Ocean. Los Angeles to Dubai.
Mexico to Japan.
one of the longest domestic flight in the United States. Miami to Seattle. New York to Hawaii. One of the longest domestic flights in the United States.
This is the longest direct flight in the world at the moment. New York to Singapore. The flight is operated by Singapore Airlines using an Airbus A350-900ULR aircraft. They fulfilled their ambition of being the world's longest commercial flight when they launched this direct flight in November 2020. In addition, they also launched a similar long-distance flight from Newark to Singapore. So do you know the third longest flight in the world? The distance between to airport is 9,537 miles, 15,349 kilometers. And the flight time is extremely long at 18 hours and 33 minutes. If you take a flight from Singapore to New York, the flight will follow a different route by the North Pacific Ocean and Alaska to reach New York. You'll get to experience these two amazing routes by spending almost a day on the plane. Have you ever taken this flight?
This is the longest non-stop flight in the world at the moment. New York to Singapore.
One of the longest flight in the world. New York to Sydney.
Singapore to London. One of the longest one-stop flights in the world at the moment. Singapore to New York. Switzerland to Thailand.
The shortest and longest flight from Sydney. The shortest flight is from Sydney to Newcastle, a short commercial flight on the east coast of Australia, connecting the two largest cities in the state of New South Wales. The route is operated by Fly Pelican with a frequency of 3 flights a day. The longest flight is from Sydney to Dallas, one of the flights that spend the most time flying over the ocean in the world. How does it feel to take a flight longer than 16 hours over the ocean? There are the 3 longest international flights from Atlanta. Food flight, Atlanta to Seoul. Second flight, Atlanta to Doha. First flight, Atlanta to Johannesburg. A challenging flight for those who are afraid of the ocean as they take a flight of over 16 hours over the vast ocean.
Venezuela to Madrid.
This is the shortest commercial flight in the world, Westray to Papa Westray. A flight between the two islands of Westray and Papa Westray in the Orkney Islands, Scotland, operated by Loganair, has become famous due to its extremely short distance and record-breaking flight time. The actual flight time averages around 1 minute and 14 seconds, and in good weather conditions, the flight can be completed in just 47 seconds, making it the shortest commercial flight in the world. This route serves the local community, including the transportation of students, workers, doctors, and residents between the two islands. Additionally, it attracts many tourists who want to experience the world's shortest commercial flight. Ticket prices for the flight usually range between £20 to £31. However, the fare for local residents may be lower. Many people wonder whether this flight ever gets delayed. The answer is yes, as this route is heavily dependent on weather conditions. In cases of strong winds or thick fog, the flight may be delayed or canceled. There is also no in-flight meal service on this flight. And a fun joke about this flight is, what if there were a flight attendant on board? They wouldn't even finish their introduction before the plane landed.